Have you ever felt like you are quietly observing life instead of fully being inside it? Like you understand people deeply, but still feel unseen? You listen. You notice. You feel everything. And yet, something feels different. Something feels separate. Almost like you are tuned to a different frequency. If this feeling has followed you for a long time, you are not alone. Many people who identify as INFJ feel this way. Not occasionally, but consistently. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet, persistent, subtle, a feeling that never fully goes away. In this video, we will explore why INFJs feel different from everyone else. We will go slowly, we will go deeply, and we will keep everything simple. 12 reasons, 12 reflections. Each one may feel familiar. 1. A deep inner world. INFJs live most of their life inside their mind. Not because they want to escape reality, but because their mind naturally goes deeper. When something happens, they do not just see the event. They ask what it means. They connect it to past experiences. They imagine future outcomes. They search for patterns. They search for purpose. Their thoughts are layered. One idea leads to another, then another. This creates a rich inner world. A world filled with meaning, symbolism, and reflection. But here is the quiet challenge. Most people are focused on the outer world. What is happening now? What needs to be done? What is visible and clear? INFJs are focused on what is beneath the surface. So when they speak, it may feel deeper than the moment requires. When they listen, they may notice things others miss. This creates distance. Not because they want it, but because they experience life differently. Sometimes they feel like they are translating their thoughts into a simpler language. And even then, they are not fully understood. This is one reason they feel different. Not disconnected from reality, but connected to a deeper layer of it. 2. Emotional depth and sensitivity. INFJs feel emotions in a quiet but powerful way. They do not just experience emotions. They absorb them. They pick up on subtle changes in tone, in facial expressions, in energy. A small shift in someone's mood can be felt immediately, even if nothing is said. This is not something they try to do. It happens naturally, almost automatically. This deep emotional awareness can be a gift. It allows INFJs to comfort others, to understand pain, to offer support in meaningful ways. But it can also feel heavy, because they do not just feel their own emotions. They carry the emotions of others. And sometimes they carry them for too long. While others move on quickly, INFJs stay with the feeling. They process it slowly. They revisit it. They try to understand it fully. This makes them feel out of sync. They may wonder why others seem less affected. Why others can detach so easily. It can feel confusing, even isolating. But this depth is not weakness. It is awareness. It is sensitivity to the human experience. 3. Strong intuition. INFJs trust their intuition deeply. They notice patterns without trying. They sense when something feels off, even if everything looks fine on the surface. This inner knowing is quiet, but steady. It does not shout. It whispers. And INFJs learn to listen. But intuition is difficult to explain. It does not always come with clear reasons or logical steps. It just feels true. And when INFJs try to explain it, they may struggle. Others may ask for proof, for details, for something concrete. INFJs may feel frustrated because they know something, but cannot always explain how they know it. This creates a gap between knowing and expressing. And in that gap, they feel different. Not because they are wrong, but because their way of knowing is not always visible to others. 4. Desire for depth in relationships. INFJs do not seek many relationships. They seek meaningful ones. They value depth over quantity. They are not interested in small talk for long periods. They want real conversations. Honest ones. Conversations about fears, dreams, purpose, growth. But most social interactions stay on the surface. Casual, light, temporary. This can feel draining. Not because INFJs dislike people, but because they are searching for something deeper. When that depth is missing, they feel alone. Even in a crowd, even in a room full of familiar faces, they may smile, they may engage, but inside, they feel disconnected. They may ask themselves, why is it so hard to find people who want to go deeper? Over time, they may stop trying as much. They protect their energy. They wait for the right connections. This patience can look like distance, but it is actually intention. 5. Feeling misunderstood. INFJs often feel misunderstood, not because people are unkind, but because their inner experience is complex. They think deeply, they feel deeply, but they do not always express everything. They filter their thoughts. They choose their words carefully. Sometimes they say less than they feel, because they are not sure how it will be received, or because they feel it may be too much. This creates a hidden gap. Others see only part of them, not the full picture. So others respond to what they see, not to what INFJs truly feel inside. This leads to a quiet frustration. INFJs understand others very well, but rarely feel understood in return. This imbalance can feel lonely, even when relationships seem stable on the surface. 6. Idealism and high standards. INFJs often imagine a better version of reality. They see how things could be, how people could treat each other, how systems could improve, how life could feel more meaningful. This vision is clear, and it matters deeply to them. But reality does not always match this vision. People act in ways that feel shallow. Systems feel flawed. Conversations feel empty. This creates tension. INFJs may feel disappointed, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, ongoing way. They may ask, why is it like this? Why can it not be better? They also apply high standards to themselves. They want to grow, to improve, to become more aligned with their values. This can lead to pressure, and sometimes self-criticism. They may feel like they are never fully reaching their own expectations. This combination of idealism and reality creates a sense of difference. They are not just living life. They are constantly evaluating it. 7. Need for solitude. INFJs need time alone. Not occasionally, but regularly. Solitude is how they process life. It is how they understand their thoughts, their emotions, their experiences. Without this space, everything feels overwhelming. Too many thoughts, too many feelings, too much input. When they step away, things become clear again. But this need is often misunderstood. Others may think they are distant, or uninterested, or even avoiding connection. But that is not the case. INFJs value connection deeply. They just need space to sustain it. Without solitude, they cannot show up fully. This difference in energy needs can create misunderstanding. And again, a sense of being different. 8. Overthinking and reflection. INFJs reflect on everything. Conversations, decisions, moments. They replay them. They analyze them. They look for meaning. They ask deeper questions. What did that moment mean? Why did that person react that way? What could I have done differently? This reflection is not always negative. It leads to growth, awareness, understanding, but it can also become overwhelming, because it does not stop easily. While others move on, INFJs stay in the moment longer. They process it fully, sometimes too fully. This can lead to mental exhaustion, and a sense of being out of sync. Others may seem more relaxed, more present, less burdened by thought. INFJs may wonder how that feels. 9. Strong sense of purpose. INFJs want their life to have meaning. They are not satisfied with just going through routines. They want to contribute, to help, to create something meaningful. This sense of purpose is not forced. It is natural, but it can also feel heavy, because they are always searching for alignment. They ask themselves, is this the right path? Am I doing something meaningful? Does this matter? These questions do not always have clear answers, and that uncertainty can feel uncomfortable. They may feel lost at times, or unsure of their direction, especially when others seem content with simpler goals. This difference in motivation creates distance, not because one way is better, but because it is different. 10. Difficulty with boundaries. INFJs care deeply about others. They want to help, to support, to understand. But this can lead to overextending themselves. They may say yes when they want to say no. They may give more than they receive. They may ignore their own needs. Not intentionally, but gradually. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, and sometimes resentment. They may feel unappreciated, or drained. But setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, because they do not want to hurt others. They do not want to create conflict. So they stay silent, and carry the weight. This pattern creates imbalance, and reinforces the feeling of being different. 11. Quiet presence, strong inner intensity. INFJs are often quiet on the outside, but intense on the inside. Their thoughts are deep. Their emotions are strong. Their awareness is constant. They may not speak often, but when they do, it carries meaning. They observe more than they express. This can make them seem reserved, or even distant. But inside, there is a lot happening. A constant flow of thought and feeling. Others may not see this, and may misinterpret their silence. This creates another layer of misunderstanding. INFJs may feel invisible in some spaces, not because they are unnoticed, but because they are not fully seen. 12. A rare combination of traits. INFJs are a unique mix. They are emotional and analytical, intuitive and structured, idealistic and practical, private and deeply caring. This combination does not always fit into clear categories. It is complex, balanced, and sometimes contradictory. They may feel different even from people who seem similar, because their internal balance is specific and rare. This does not mean they are better or worse. It simply means they experience life differently, and difference can feel isolating, especially when it is not fully understood. Feeling different is not a flaw. It is not something to fix. It is something to understand. INFJs bring depth to conversations. They bring empathy to relationships. They bring awareness to the world around them. But they also need balance. They need to care for themselves, to express themselves, to accept that not everyone will understand them. And that is okay. You do not need to be understood by everyone. You need to be understood by the right people. And most importantly, by yourself. When you understand your own nature, the feeling of difference becomes lighter. It becomes something you carry with clarity, not confusion, not isolation, just awareness. And from that awareness, you begin to feel more aligned, more grounded, more at peace. If you see yourself in these words, take a quiet moment. Not to change who you are, but to accept it. Because your depth has value, your sensitivity has meaning, and your perspective matters.